Hello everyone, I am Ranjit from Informatica Global Customer Support. In this video, we will see how to configure the Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source in CDGC. The agenda of today's session is: what is Microsoft Azure Synapse Scanner? What are all the supported object types of Microsoft Azure Synapse Scanner? What are all the prerequisites to configure the Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source in CDGC? And then we will see on the steps to configure the Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source along with a quick demo. What is Microsoft Azure Synapse Scanner? Microsoft Azure Synapse, formerly known as Azure SQL Data Warehouse, is a big data analytics service that queries and analyzes your data. In Cloud Data Governance and Catalog, we use the Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source to extract metadata from the database located on a Microsoft Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Supported object types. The following objects will be extracted as part of the metadata extraction in CDGC. The objects are database, tables, schema, views, materialized view, functions, store procedures, and columns. And the following objects will be profiled as part of the data profiling in CDGC. The objects are tables and views. Prerequisites to configure the Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source in CDGC. The below permissions allows users to extract metadata. Before you create a Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source, configure permissions for the Microsoft Azure SQL Server database user account that you use to connect to Microsoft Azure SQL Server. Metadata Command Center uses SQL Server authentication to connect to the Microsoft Azure SQL Server database. Verify that the user account that you use to connect to Microsoft Azure SQL Server has an SQL Server login account. Configure the view definition and connect permissions for the user account. These permissions allow you to view all schemas from where you can load metadata. Permissions to run data profiles. To perform data profiling on Azure Synapse, grant the following privileges to the user. Now we will see on the steps to configure the Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source along with a quick demo. In order to create a Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source in Metadata Command Center, we will be required to create the connection in Administrator Service first. To do that, navigate to Administrator Service, click on Connection and create a new connection. Here I have provided the connection name and type as Microsoft Azure Synapse SQL and a valid runtime environment and other user credentials to connect to the Azure Synapse source system. And then under Azure storage type, we have to choose either Azure Blob or ADLS Gen 2 and provide the corresponding credentials. And this is to perform data profiling in CDGC. Once details are provided, click on Test Connection. And once test connection is successful, you can save the connection. And then navigate to Metadata Command Center, click on New and choose Microsoft Azure Synapse catalog source. And under connection, choose the valid connection that we created in Administrator Service. And once the details are provided, click on Next. And under Metadata Extraction Configuration, choose the valid runtime environment. And under Filters, choose Filter Conditions. Here we can provide the filter in any of the below supported formats. Once the details are provided, click on Data Profiling and Quality and enable data profiling. And under Runtime Environment, we can provide the valid runtime environment. And then under Azure Blob Container or ADLS file system name, we have to provide any one of the value. This is to store the staging data for data profiling in CDGC. And once the data profiling details are provided, click on Data Classification and enable data classification. Here we can choose data classification rules to add the data classifications that we created in metadata command center. And once the details were added, click on relationship discovery and enable relationship discovery. And once the details are provided, click on glossary association and enable glossary association. And once the details were added, we can save the catalog source and then run the catalog source. Here I have already created the catalog source with same configurations. And once the job is completed successfully, we can see the extracted metadata in data governance and catalog. And here under the hierarchy tab, we will be able to see the hierarchy of database schema, tables and views. And on clicking the object, we'll be navigate to the particular object. And for table under contains tab, we will be able to see the columns that were associated with the table. And here under glossaries tab, we will be able to see the business for this particular columns. And under classifications tab, we will be able to see the associated classifications for this particular columns. And then under the lineage tab, we will be able to see the lineage applicable for this particular table. Here we have created a view on top of this particular table, customers. And on clicking relationships tab, we will be able to see the relationships applicable for this particular table. And for the view, we will be able to see the view creation code under the codes tab. We would love to hear feedback from you. Thanks for watching.